What's up everyone, it's Cubastic and I have a unique puzzle on my desk today. It's so special for me because once upon a time I saw it and it was the most difficult puzzle in my understanding. And I had no idea not only how to solve it, but also how to turn it. This mysterious thing is called Mastermorphics. It looks like a pyramid, it has completely different parts. Even those that have the same color, they are completely different. And it's totally not clear how it turns. In fact, guys, in today's video I want to show you not only the solving of this puzzle, I also really want to tell you a story about how I cope with difficulties using this puzzle as an example. So, once upon a time, I scrambled this puzzle. Let's go! Folks, this video has certain conditions. Today I will talk a lot, today I will tell stories, I will talk about how I deal with puzzles. And if you are interested, you can like this video, write a comment, use the stopwatch to see how long it will take me to cope with this puzzle, and order this puzzle at the Cubicle.com store. Okay, I'm kidding, it's not necessary, but I sincerely recommend you to visit this website and take a look at the incredible variety of puzzles that exist nowadays. There are puzzles and Rubik's Cubes that you won't find anywhere else. Shape modes, cuboids, gear cubes, magic panels, Klotsky puzzles, and endless variety of Rubik's Cube modifications. Be sure that the quality of those puzzles is just perfect. That's why I usually purchase all my puzzles at the Cubicle store. Check the link in the description and remember that using my special promo code Cubastic you can get a discount on your order. I'll start the timer, but this time cannot be considered totally official, it's more a tradition. Let's make our bear Jared keep an eye on it. Let him always be here and check the time. The first thing that I had to understand was the inside part of this puzzle. What was its mechanism? And when I was told that there is a 3x3 Rubik's Cube inside this pyramid, which changes shape while it's being scrambled, I didn't believe it at first. Because how can this be possible? In fact, if you look closely, you can understand that there is a center, there are edges, and there are corners that I immediately began to put in the right place. Since the center is special, with two colors, it seemed extremely unusual. But nevertheless, knowing how to solve the Rubik's Cube, anyone would cope with this task. The only thing is that I still find it uncomfortable to turn this puzzle, not because it turns badly, it turns just great, but because the fingers are not used to the shape. I'm constantly turning a cube, but not a weirdly shaped triangle. The cross is done, what should I do next? Check if it is correct. On the cube, the correct cross looks like this. It is aligned with its edge with the correct center not only on one side, but also on the next one. As you can see, each side is aligned. I needed to do this, but here's the difficulty, the first difficulty I encountered. The centers have different colors, so I had to set them right from the beginning, because then it would be extremely difficult to change something. Puzzles that have several options for the location of the centers are really difficult, because it's really hard to understand what is actually going on. You also have to use centers for the orientation, doing double work, so it is advisable to do this trick right away. 1 2 3 and what? 4. I got the correct cross. Whew, the first stage is over, but the most difficult part is ahead. The only handy thing was knowing which element is responsible for. I know this is the center, and on the Rubik's Cube too, I know these are edges, and they are corners. Yes, the corners seemed really non-standard, because here there are really different corners, both on the cube for example, but also a small monochromatic element, yes, it is also a corner. This was so confusing to me, and then there was the second stage, where we have to place the corners in their place. By the way, I really hope that my story is interesting and useful for you, and if it really does, write your stories in the comments, answer any questions that I might ask here, or ask me questions. This will be a video in which we just talk and I tell a story. You see, even now, after so much time, I can still make a mistake in the solving, because a puzzle is so difficult. What is the whole point of this video? Perhaps it will help someone to solve this puzzle. For someone this will be a training video, and for someone it will be an example of how to challenge yourself and, despite all the difficulties you face, achieve your goals. I hope you really find my example interesting. Next, we have to solve the second layer. Since I already know where every element is located compared to the 3x3 cube, I already know what algorithms I have to perform. But it's still difficult, because I'm confusing the sides. Therefore, I go back to the first stage and check where each element and each side is located. Here is the top, this is the right, left, front, back, and so on. Now I already understand where each side is, and this makes the whole process easier for me. We are continuing to solve. Yes, 2 layers are done. Yes, 2 layers are done. More than half of the puzzle already looks finished. And even more, if you look at it from this angle, you might even think that it is solved, but no, the hardest part is yet to come. The way I got confused in this puzzle, even when I started solving it, I have never been that confused, because here, even when using the algorithms, all this doesn't lead to anything clear. All because of one small complex detail which I want to show you separately in an example. When we move, for example, these are 3 elements, and for this we will use an algorithm, the following happens. Everything seems to be right, but what is it? The central elements are now pointing to the wrong direction, and now I will explain to you why this is happening. Here I want to show you the situation in more detail. I have a Rubik's Cube with a white arrow glued on the centers, which points to the white center. As you can see, all the arrows are pointing up. And if we use exactly the same algorithm on both sides as here, everything will become right. But on these 2 sides, the arrows are already looking in a completely different direction and not up. This can only mean that while using a regular Rubik's Cube, when we use algorithms, the central elements can be turned over. And due to the fact that this is just one color, its position doesn't matter at all when solved. That is, if we solve the cube, then the centers, as you can see, have changed their direction from the initial position. But in this puzzle, it's important for us to make sure that each of the centers looks exactly up. To do this on a regular Rubik's Cube, you need to try pretty hard. You see how many additional steps I made in order to turn all the centers up again. And now I have to do it here too, and it is much more difficult. But I don't pay attention to the 2 turned centers yet, so I will leave them for dessert. Now our task is to turn and swap these remaining elements. We do this, it's also easy, because I actually know how to solve a Rubik's Cube. And I have already learned in general how to determine each element of the cube of this puzzle, and this seems to be way easier. folks, subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications, because in one of the following videos I will try to solve the longest Rubik's Cube ever made, 2x2x7. Don't miss out. So, this is a really difficult situation, now I will try to explain it. There can't be such a situation on an ordinary cube, one corner cannot be turned like this, but this is exactly what we have here. But the reality is that two corners are turned here. Just due to the fact that one of these angles has a symmetrical shape and the same color, we don't see that we have it upside down. And now our task is to turn these two corners correctly. Here we will notice this move, but here it is completely essential for us. Let's try to do it, I'm just not totally sure how. Probably the best way is to use the simplest newbie method I have come up with for solving a cube. So what do we have here? The puzzle is almost solved, the two hated centers remain. And now, in order to get it all back, I need to repeat all the combinations that I did on this cube in order to flip two closest centers. And it will be much more difficult to do, especially when the cube starts to scramble. Whew! Go! Like the video if you understand what is happening, if you're not, like it too, in order to support me and help me solving this difficult puzzle. Support, guys! Exactly the support of relatives, acquaintances, friends. This is the most necessary thing to help you achieve certain goals. In speedcubing, such support is the support of people with similar tastes, the same speedcubers as you, so I sincerely recommend that you gather in your cities, meet, talk, because live communication cannot be replaced with anything. For me, actually, everything started with such gatherings. We had gatherings every Sunday in my town. I was going and checking new puzzles. I could turn someone else's puzzle, maybe on which I hadn't checked before, and gave my own puzzle to someone. We competed in solving cubes with a timer, we shared algorithms, shared experiences, and it was damn cool. I really want this to happen again. Let's do it, folks. Look for speedcubers in your city, revive these gatherings. Let's gather every week in each city. Now let's face this disaster. Okay, just like that. I remind you that this video is sponsored by the Cubicle Store, one of the best online puzzle stores in the world. Okay, just like that. 12 minutes 49 seconds, taking into account all the chattering. I hope you found it interesting and the puzzle that seemed impossible at first has already been solved. 12 minutes 49 seconds is the result that I have through years of training, through a huge number of solvings, not only of this one, but of all kinds of puzzles. And this proves once again that no matter what goal you set for yourself, in any situation it is possible to achieve it. Because in any hobby you can find a way to achieve absolutely any goals and fulfill absolutely any of your dreams. Exactly this is speedcubing for me, and I hope for you too. Therefore guys, let's revive and raise speedcubing. It all depends only on you. It all depends not only on communication on the internet, but also on live gatherings. Therefore, I really hope that this video has somehow inspired you. I really hope, guys, that after watching this video, you won't stop struggling with the half-completed puzzle, but will complete it to the end. And it not only concerns puzzles, but any area of your activity, study, work or anything else. I wish you good luck. I love you all so much, subscribe to the channel, thank you all for watching, that was Cubastic, bye and have a good time.